Hi, Redeemer. Welcome to this week's FAQ. This week and next week, I'm going to do a couple videos on regarding the gift of prophecy. These questions came up in a recent 101 class I taught. Number one, what is that? How do you define the gift? And then number two, the other question was, how does that possibility of God speaking in that way relate to the authority of Scripture? So, big questions. And again, there's always a lot more resources that we can provide. These are quick answers, right, about this stuff. But you could read for days on this stuff. So if you want to know more, let me know. I'll resource you. So number one, how do we define the gift of prophecy? I, according to the Scriptures, define the gift of prophecy as God revealing something to you, me, one of His children, about someone, something, some event that you couldn't have otherwise known. It's a supernatural insight. So it's not an intuition. Like if I say, hey man, I sense that, you're dealing with some degree of, unbelief in your life. Well, yeah, that's everybody. Like it's a specific thing. And so historically in the camp that I've kind of come up in and been trained in, that's not the definition of prophecy that's taught. The definition of prophecy is basically it's teaching and preaching. And my response to that is they're actually two different things, which is why they're two different words. So I used to kind of buy into that, and I get that. They say, man, that guy's a real prophet. He preaches prophetically. And by that they mean he has intensity, passion, clarity, zeal, faith, whatever. And I certainly hope that's the case for me and others that we train to preach, but that's not prophecy. So number one, that's why they're different words. But number two, when we see this word come up in the Bible, it's the situation that we see is that there's something that couldn't have otherwise been known. So to go back to the example of I've used before of Jesus with the woman at the well, he says, go and get your husband. She says, I have no husband. And he says, you're right. And, basically discloses to her that the man she's living with isn't her husband. So he's revealing something he shouldn't otherwise know, and her on a human level, right? And her response is, I perceive that you are a prophet. Why? Because she just told him, and then she runs into town, or he just told her things she didn't know, and then she runs into town and says, come see this man that told me all about my life. So you get that prophet thing going on there. And then the other quick reference is in 1 Corinthians 14, when Paul says, if you all prophesy, an unbeliever enters. So he's talking about the gathered church. And he says, if you practice the gift of prophecy, if you prophesy, an unbeliever enters, the secrets of his heart are disclosed. And falling on his face, he will worship God and declare that he is surely among you. So there's this idea that something was disclosed, right? A secret was disclosed through prophecy. So there's the definition. Something revealed to God's people, a person or an individual about someone, something, an event that couldn't have otherwise been known. So next week, how does that relate to the authority of Scripture? See you later.